Alright, so Juice Wrld just released a new album, The Party Never Ends, and I myself have been waiting for this album since the Legends Never Die released. I have heard the leak, The Party Never Ends, with the extended part of with the basically extended cut of the Juice Wrld snippet from No Bystanders by Travis Scott. I saw the leak and I was like, oh my god, this album will be incredible. And since Legends Never Die released on July 10, 2020, I have been waiting and I have been ecstatic to see this album. Now, the cover art is done by Takashi Murakami, and okay, this is me after recording the video. I have messed his name up for the whole video. It's Takashi Murakami. I'm sorry about that. I read it wrong, and there's nothing I can do about it now, so I'm sorry. I guess you just have to bear with it. And I'm sorry for my ignorance. I have seen a video. I don't want to shade a lot of people, but I have seen a video in which the YouTuber basically says that the art is insulting, that it's not on the level of graduation, like album cover, by Kanye West or any other piece of art that Takashi Murakami did, and that they are basically sullying Juice WRLD's legacy. I think this is baffling, especially with the fact that the YouTuber said that the songs are lacking and the music is getting worse. Like, I'm sorry, but the music isn't getting worse. I myself have been an unreleased Juice WRLD enjoyer, and I have seen music like Condone It, Adore You, Jeffrey, Barbarian, Florid, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think I have seen a version of KTM Drip, but not exactly that one that is released. So I have been a fanatic of Juice WRLD music, and to say that these songs are bad, I'm sorry. Even if you get 4 or 5 songs off of an 18-song album, I'm sorry, but that's really good, especially when you consider that most artists have 2 or 3 songs that are really good in each album. Of course, there are exceptions to this. I don't want to be oh, but what if that? To any generality, there is an exception. Please do not try to act smart. You are not. And let me get back to the art, since this is a field that I have a bit of knowledge in this field, let's say that. How can you say that the art that Takashi Murakami made with Juice WRLD, which they have planned together, there are literal pictures of them doing it, how can you say that it's bad? Oh, but the characters are I don't know what he said, they're basically stupid and random. Yeah, that's the point. Look at his art. It's almost all ecstatic colors and it's in this theme. Stop. If you do not like it, that's totally fine. And it's your opinion, it's fine. You can put it on YouTube, but I will freely critique it as well. To say that this is insulting, I mean, I am sorry. But this is not sullying anyone's legacy. This is not insulting at all. And you are subjective as a person. You cannot say this is not art. As an example, if you find value in a Jackson Pollock painting, nobody can say oh, you shouldn't find the value in it. It's subjective. Art has value as long as it has value, because it literally has no actual value. What are you supposed to do with it? Of course, conceptual and industrial and architectural art has value. But please do not compare an album cover. Do not you cannot literally rate this. You cannot say this is insulting. Me, myself, yeah, I am not as happy as I was with previous iterations of The Party Never Ends, even fan art. But I will not go and say that this is insulting. This is not insulting. Yes, Takashi Murakami has way better art. We can say that. But I am an artist. I know the other part of this. I do not know the consumer part. I know the other perspective. And I know you as a consumer don't care about this. But you cannot expect the artist to have an all-out bangers, but the style, it is congruent with what he used to make in the past. You can literally see it, and you can tell that's a Takashi Murakami piece of art, So I think it's insulting to say that it's insulting. How can you say that? And again, with the music is good. Stop complaining, it's good. Sure, you haven't seen, it's not as good, but the same, as I said with Takashi Murakami, you cannot release bangers back to back. Juice WRLD has a lot of bangers that were leaked. If they put out, let's say, songs like Life's a Dungeon, and these examples are subjective, but again, art is subjective, or Stick Talk, or any other Sandman, I think, if you compare, or a lot of other unreleased songs that are if you would say objectively better, which I don't think they are, but If they released that, nobody would, like, they are already out there. And there were like a lot of songs. I mean, personally, I haven't seen Celebrate. I haven't seen Party by Myself. I haven't seen Goodbye with Kid Laroi. I haven't seen Love Letter in the leaks. Neither All Girls Are the Same too, you know, Insecure or Lace It. I haven't seen any of this. Misfit. I haven't seen any of this. And The Party Never Ends is completely different to the leak that I heard. So I have not seen, which I am a Juice Wrld like fanatic, you know, I listen to a lot of these songs. So for me to not see it, that means that it's, I don't want to use myself as a grading tool, but I have to. That means that these songs are unique. They haven't been seen before. If you look up on YouTube, right now, if you search up Life's a Dungeon by Juice Wrld, the first video has 8k views. The second video has 2k. The third 230k. It's there, you know? There's a React video by Reaction Therapy, 7.4k. This is pretty known. You have a literal like album that is like a video, Outsiders unreleased album with 40 minutes of songs. That's 5 million views. You have Juice Wrld 2-hour unreleased video, 4.6 million views 1 year ago, and the second one, the one from before, it's 2 years ago. I have it fully watched, the both of those videos. I have not seen the songs on this album in any of these, the most popular leaks. So basically, again, I am going back and forth, They are unique. You haven't seen them. Yes, sure, you have seen a lot of, like half of the songs, but you cannot help that. They got leaked. But to say that the album is insulting, I think you're overreaching. And I think that you should look at art differently. It's not that deep. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's subjective. Me, myself, I like the album. I like the art as well. I wasn't a fan of Takashi Murakami. I am a fan now. And I am a really big fan of Juice Wrld. And I don't want to seem like I'm a shit eater. I like Juice Wrld. And sure, there are songs that I don't like. Goodbye, I don't like it by Kid Laroi. I didn't like it. And I have a lot of gripes with the album. Like, why are there so many intros and outros to the album? You know, I understand that they're putting like live performance, like parts, snippets of Juice Wrld talking. But please, leave those for the video. I don't want to hear those on my gym playlist or, you know, like my walking playlist. I'm walking and, you know, I'm crossing the street. I cannot look at my phone and I just get like 30-second intro. I don't like that. But again, it's not my song. It's not like I will control it. Either I will find a way to listen to it without an intro and an outro, or I will not listen to it. But it's not my place to say whether it's insulting or has value or not. It's art. It doesn't literally have value. It doesn't. You could live water, money, air, you know, material things have value. Art doesn't. Art isn't material. Like, sure, sometimes a canvas has a value, but imagine, like, if you gave that to a troglodyte, would they find value in a drawing? No. They would probably look at it and be like, okay, that's cool, and then move on with their day. The same as a sunset doesn't have value. You look at this, like, documentaries of these, like, African tribes, and you look at the background, and it's like this beautiful sunset, this beautiful ravine with beautiful, and they don't care. Why? Because what actually has value is survival, not art. So you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And he doesn't care because it doesn't have value. Beauty doesn't have value. Materials have value. Anyway, I want to get this rant out of the way. Now that we passed 10 minutes of talking, I want to get into more of my own opinions and not into this, like, addressing this, like, insulting, like, that they talked about Takashi Murakami's album cover for Juice Wrld's album. And honestly, I have seen one YouTuber, but I have seen this sentiment a lot lately, so I want to address it. And me, myself, my first impression was the same, but the album kind of grew on me and the art. And I will be honest, like, me, myself, I'm a digital artist, and with time, I have learned that people do not appreciate art the same. They appreciate you being a printer or you making like anime artwork, you know, like cartoonish artwork. Yeah, they appreciate that, but they do not appreciate art, you know, like they don't look at, I don't know, like one of my favorite painters is artist, because technically he was an illustrator, is Alphonse Mucha. I really like him. I went to the actual museum in Prague, and I remember showing like my uncle like the actual like merch that I got from there, and he was like, "Oh, this art is so bad. Did you really go there for 2 hours to look at that?" And I was like, what the fuck do you mean?" And he was like, "Oh, this is minimalistic. It's just like contrast." And I was like, "Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? Would you like him to be like a human printer? To be like perfect? No, I don't care about that. I have a phone. I can take like perfect pictures. I don't care. That's a cameras. Like, that's a camera's job. I do not want Starry Night to literally show me like how I see the Starry Night. I want to see what Van Gogh saw, what he felt, I want to filter through his artistic vision. So I think this is pointless. The talk about worth and like stuff like that with art, it doesn't have worth. People, please stop. It's not. It doesn't have actual worth. You will not find. You cannot build a house with paintings. You cannot feed yourself with paintings. You cannot feed yourself with album covers. It doesn't have worth. The worth is subjective. It's for the soul, basically, for your mind, which if taken away your privileges, your water, food, and stuff like that, you will no longer appreciate it because you will focus on stuff that actually has worth, like, objective worth. And please do not take this. I love art. I love art. It's my life. It's what I do. But art isn't a priority, and you shouldn't emphasize too much of your mind power towards it. Of course, like I'm doing it right now, but I wish to make that more my profession, to literally create value with it. But inherently, it doesn't really have value. I'm just making I'm basically spawning. I want to spawn money, and artists basically do that because people find value in it, and they give us patronage, like how patrons used to like support Michelangelo, doctors, noblemen. Now we have people, clients that support us, which they find value in us making drawings and art. We make art for them. They give us money. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. Ever since then, it still hasn't changed. It's just a trade, basically. So Juice Wrld wanted that. He wanted Takashi Murakami to make his album cover. It was made by Takashi Murakami. It was made with his choice, what he wanted to do, how he and Takashi Murakami planned it. So it's not our place to say whether the trade was worth it and whether his legacy is like stunted by this. It's not. Juice Wrld was monumental. Juice Wrld is monumental, and that will never change. You can see it in his impact. You can look at his gravesite. People like, that's stupid, but still, that's a good example. But like people like, oh my God, you saved me, and they write with Sharpie like, you saved me, thank you. The same with XXXTentacion and Lil Peep. So it's subjective. If I show my mom a Juice Wrld song, she will be like, turn that off. I don't want to hear that uncultured like man talk. I don't want to hear that hoodlum talk, And I'm like, that's not a hoodlum, that's an artist. Yeah, but my mom doesn't see it that way, or my brother, or anybody else, So again, it's subjective. To them, Juice Wrld is insulting. To me, he changed my life, It's subjective, so please don't dwell on it too much. Anyway, I hope I entertained you. I hope I changed your mind and swayed it at least a little. Take care and have a nice day, and enjoy art without thinking too deeply. Bye bye.